Okay. Assalamualaikum and hi doctor. Um, would you mind to explain what is the concept of reproduction?
Reproduction. In essence, that is for the purpose of species continuum. Every living thing, there is a need, there is an urge to continue its own species. So it's not only for plants, it's for human, it's for bacteria, even for virus, which is not a real life entity, still have the urge to multiply itself. Yeah. Why is it? Somewhere in the instinct to do so. Okay. There are many ways to do it, and usually when you talk about concept, it's either asexual reproduction or sexual reproduction. Yeah. So if you focus on plants, both are present. Yeah. So that's pretty much the fundamental of it.
As you said just now, it's for the continuity of plant. But what happens if the plant are able to reproduce?
What happens when plants aren't able to reproduce? If it's up to the plants, not being able to reproduce is not an option. It will always reproduce. However, that depends on the sufficiency to achieve reproduction, because plants can reproduce not only when it has become mature enough, but that also depends on the environmental factors. That's why there is a concept in plant science that is called dormancy. The reason these plants are putting themselves into sleep for quite some time, because conditions are not favorable. So they decide to sleep, then wake up again when the conditions are happier, so that they can germinate and continue with the reproduction and so on. Yeah, yeah. So not being able to reproduce is always because of the environmental factors. Okay, not usually to the because of the plant. Sometimes it can be to the plant. For example, but that's a very minor cases, such as we call it multiploidy, meaning that the plants having uneven or too large number of diploidy level. You know, like human 2N, right? The from mom and dad. Some plants got 3N, 5N, 6N. Yeah, so this causing them unable to reproduce. Yeah.
Alright. Is there any example of external factors that affect plants pollination?
All the pollination agents impact pollination itself. So there are many pollination agents. It can be the insects, it can be the wind, it can be the plant itself. Some plants using the bursting mechanism to cause the pollination to happen, or maybe due to the impact from the weather. Yeah. If the weather is not conducive enough, the pollination, not only that it's not taking place, if it does take place, the pollens are not viable enough to do the job. Yeah.
Well, I heard that bees need to be protected because they are so important for plant pollination. I see that bee is a pollinating agent. Why does bee is the most effective way? Like let's say, it's the most effective way for plant to pollinate, or to transfer their pollen to another plant.
Okay. To start with, because plants do not have to find bees, bees come to find the plant. That's to start with. Plants are immobile, sessile. They pretty much do not move, but they need to have this genetic crossing between the species or among themselves, so that they are not having to constrict their genetic pool. Yeah, that's why in human you are not encouraged to marry your own cousin, because you are constraining your genetic pool. You are encouraged to get married with somebody completely from the other side of the world. So in order to do that, since plants can't move, plants equip itself with various attractants to make them look alluring enough so that the pollinators, such as bees, come and do the pollination for them. Yeah, this is why many flowers look very vibrant. They are having abundant, copious amount of nectar, and also some structure of the flowers very inviting for the bees to come. Look at the orchids. The lower part of the orchids that looks like a lip, that's actually a platform for the bees to land. That's the helipad. Yeah, yeah. From our eyes, we just look at it like a, oh, that looks pretty. This springy platform on which the bees can land. But in the eyes of the bees, that actually looks like a, yeah, like a blinking, lighting runaway. Come to me, because our vision, our eyes, not the same as bees. Bees look completely different. What we look is as a static black in their eyes, that actually look a, like a blinking somehow. Yeah, yeah. So that's why bees are very good. Yeah.
Thank you. What happens if the seed of the plants land near the mother plant? What will happen?
Well, what will happen when you are still 40 years old and stay next to your mom?
I think our mom will get very annoyed.
Yeah, yeah. Plants photosynthesize, meaning that they make their own food. In order for them to do this, they need ingredients to make the food. And one of the ingredients, many ingredients to make food for photosynthesis is light, nutrients, water. So if the baby is growing nearby, surely competition cannot be avoided. And plants want to prevent this from happening, not because the mother refused to share, but to ensure that the baby that is growing is not stunted in terms of growth. Because the mom is going to win all the time. So you go a bit far from me so that you get an abundant, copious amount of light for your growth, and your nutrition is not going to be hampered by mommy and daddy, which are also hungry.
That's a very good analogy.
Mm-hmm.
How many questions just say this now? I think around 5, right?
I'm drinking this thing in the video, biarlah. Free,
Okay, sponsorship.
free family mart sponsorship.
Okay. Wait a minute. Let me find some more. Okay. Okay. To wrap up, what is the conclusion for plant reproduction?
Do it.
Do it.
You need, put it this way. If you want to highlight a component of pollination, such as the bees as the agent, understand that bees are the reason our planet is still breathing. Without bees, we are done in like 1 year. No agricultural produce. There is no, because there are many agricultural produce that depends on the natural bees to do the pollination. Yeah. You're not going to get your apple. You're not going to get your fruits. There are so many things you're not going to get. So when this happens, it will cause other forms of life to be deprived in nutrition. Yeah. So if you're talking about reproduction to appreciate, that's the story that you need to understand. But if you are in agriculture, reproduction is very important because that's where the farmers get the money. Yeah. They allow the plants to reproduce so that more plants are around and they can get more harvest out of that. So that's a business. Yeah, yeah. So it depends on the context, which one we want to look at.
Yeah, how can different pollen surface can affect the pollination?
Pollen surface, you mean pollen morphology. That's the correct way to say it. You see, pollens, it has to land on the stigma, the female part of the plant. Pollens only contains the genetic material from the fathers, from the dad. So it involves journey. If the pollen cannot be transmitted by pollination agents such as wind, such as animal, and so on, it's not going to arrive at the destination just about time. Yeah. So that's why there are pollens that's just look like regular granule, and then because it has to be light enough to be carried by the wind and then arrive on the surface of the stigma. There are pollens actually still in the sacs, like the love grass. What's that, Emily? You know love grass? The one if you go to the field, it kind of sticking to your pants. What's that? Yeah, that. What's that? Kemuncuk. Yeah. So these are the forms of different morphology of the pollens, and also this is actually the tools in learning evolution. Pollens actually has been around for millions of years. Yeah, yeah. And then the shape of the pollen stick to the stigma in a good grip for it to grow and transfer the genetic material all the way into the ovule. Yeah, if the shape of the pollen is incorrect, it's going to be hard for it to find the stigma and stick to it. Yeah, so it's all about increasing the chance of daddy meeting mommy. Okay. Lagi? Tanya. From earth to heaven. Ada ke berlaku pembiakan tumbuhan di syurga? What can I say? You should take this opportunity tau. 10 years, 20 years from now, this is going to be your memory while doing assignment. Yeah. Tak mahulah kau jumpa aku. Nanti aku jadi popular. Buat movie kata, used to be interviewed by that guy.
There are all plants doing reproduction or not? Or just maybe some.
All living organism, you see, the definition of living organism, regardless plants or not, they reproduce to ensure species continuum. However, for plants, it can be either sexual or asexual. If sexual, that's a traditional definition for reproduction involving mommy and daddy. But plants is special. It can reproduce asexually, meaning that certain plant species can have some of its organ detached and then be grown somewhere else. For example, like pineapple. You can snap the pineapple crown and then grow it somewhere place. That doesn't involve pollination. That's purely vegetative, non-reproduction organ of the plant. You can have the stem of the sugarcane. You just snap the sugarcane into pieces, and then one in you grow in Batu Pahat, one you grow in Keningau, still grow. No pollination, but you still get new plants. So plants is special in that way. So whether the plants can reproduce or not, it's actually I think I can understand your question. They always can reproduce until the environment or internal issues arise that make them, what's the word, sterile. Yeah, incapable of making new babies. Yeah.
Can you describe the role of seed in the reproductive cycle of the flowering plant?
Seed. Seed is actually the sac in which the baby is contained, the embryo. So after the pollination has taken place, mommy and daddy has fused together, male and female part has joined together, that's where you get the baby. However, the baby now is not going to grow until you get a new organism, but rather it is put to sleep in the form of embryo. It's frozen in time, so to speak. So the seed has the baby in the form of embryo, and then this embryo is surrounded by a food reserve for the baby to use later. And this food reserve is sometimes called endosperm, the food reserve. And then this embryo, baby, and the endosperm food reserve is contained within seed. And seed itself is having a special structure to prevent air and water to get in. Yeah, because the moment water gets in, the baby is going to awaken. Yeah. That's why some seeds are very hard and toughened until you soak it in the water. Then it softens and then will start to germinate. For example, like the bean sprout, the taugeh. Yeah. So seed is actually the baby container. You can think of it. Yeah. And since the baby is sleeping, you can carry it from Beijing to Moscow, no problem. Yeah. Can you awaken the baby? Yes. Whenever the environment is favorable, you can awaken the baby and it's going to grow like a new plant all over again, just like the parents.
So the seed remain dormant until wake it up.
Yes. Seed are very common. Yeah, seed can. Some seeds like the hehua pula. Aku nak bagi hehua. Apa? Lotus has been shown to be dormant for 2,000 years, no problem.
Wow.
Yeah, because there's a news last year, I think they found the seeds from 2,000 years ago, and then they regrow the lotus and just awaken. The seed is actually in the deep muddy area in the lake, so it's kind of no oxygen kind of place. So the seeds have been sleeping since way before Hang Tuah even know how to make story.
So, is there any difference between, because the seed comes from thousands of sucrose, right? So is there the different seed from the lotus?
Yeah. They there is slight genetic, we call it natural mutations, because in the past the content of the carbon dioxide and oxygen is not the same as now. Yeah, now due to industrial revolution, have you heard that?
Yes.
So we have higher CO2 in the air. So the morphology or the shape of the leaf is rather different compared to 2,000 years ago. Yeah, but lotus is still lotus. When the time comes, it's going to bloom beautifully. Otherwise, Buddha will not turn it into favorite flower.
Yes, I have lotus
Betul
one.
lah.
It's very sweet.
Yeah.
Flowers are so pretty.
Okay.
This question sparked into my mind. Is the reproduction of carnivorous plant and the normal plant that undergo normal photosynthesis is the same?
It's either two, asexual or sexual. Some plants can do both. For example, the carnivorous plant, like the let me take the Venus flytrap. Yeah, that flytrap is actually leaf. It's modified. Why? Because the plant sensing the soil is lacking in nitrogen, so it needs extra nutrition. That's why it modified its leaf to become a monstrous mouth. That's a leaf. Why? So that whenever there is a small insect that gets into it, it can digest it and absorb the nutrition to compensate for the lacking of nitrogen in the soil. So the plants can reproduce sexually, usually when the nutrition is ample and sufficient. But when there is a need for reproduction to take place, if it thinks that reproduction between mom and dad is not going to take place, I just need to detach myself asexually. That can happen. Yeah. Sometimes plants can do both, no problem. Yeah. But usually, the asexual babies, usually it can be a bit weaker compared to the previous generation because of the limited genetic pool. Yeah, the crossing of genetic between mom and dad actually strengthen the baby to be more ready with the current environmental condition. Yeah. So for your question, even carnivorous or no carnivorous, they are still plant. They can reproduce sexually or asexually as they deem fit for the current situation. Yeah. If you grow the Venus flytrap in a regular planting mixed soil with fertilizer and everything, you're not going to get the flytrap. You're not going to get it. You're going to get a regular leaf. there is no need for the plant to produce this because I have enough nutrients in the soil. Yeah. Great. Happy? Yeah.
Okay, doctor. Have you heard about some plants that reproduce bisexual?
Bisexually?
It means that
Is it BY or BI?
BI.
BI, bisexually. It's called hermaphrodite.
Hermaphrodite.
Papaya does that.
Yes. Oh,
Mm.
papaya.
Some papaya, it has the male flowers, female flowers, and they got the third flowers. Sajak flowers pula. Hermaphrodite flowers. Hermaphrodite flowers, meaning that both female and male structures present in one flower. Yeah, yeah. But usually the fruit is going to look a bit funny compared to the regular fruit. Yeah, sajak is very funny, right? Yes, it can reproduce bisexually. Both. If you learn botany later on, you're going to understand that some flowers they have both sexes in one flower. Some flower they only have one sex. Yeah. So, rice that you eat, you have both male and female within one rice sack. So that's why it doesn't need a bees. It just by shaking, pollination can happen within the sac.
Will fall on.
Yeah. Just by a single shaking, just a wind come or rats running around, hitting the plant. Small vibration can easy to trigger the self pollination within the sac of the rice kernel. Yeah. So that's interesting that way. So belajarlah plant science. Menarik sebab aku yang jawab. Sekarang kau yang jawab. Okay. Dah? Happy? Ada lagi? Apa lagi?
There is a between reproduction in flowering plants and fruit plant. Like there's a
Non-flowering.
big difference between them.
The difference between flowering and fruit plant.
I mean the flower like
If you are following the sequence, the developmental sequence of a plant, you need to have flower first, then only you get fruit. Okay, flowers, it has ovary, right? Okay, in the ovary you got ovules. If pollinations happens, this flower is called fertilized. Disenyawakan, and then this ovary will wither the petals and it will start to swell and enlarge, becoming a fruit. What once was a ovule becomes the seeds, biji. The ovary itself become the fruit. Yeah. So flowers, fruit, because it has been fertilized through pollination. Yeah. There is a special condition in agriculture, it's called parthenocarpy, meaning that you can get fruits without the fusion of this fertilization. Yeah, and that's a bit cheating actually. That's using hormone. Yeah, the fruit enlarge not because dad meets up with mommy. No, the fruit enlarge because farmer decide you need to bear the fruit now. Yeah, hormone. You spray the hormone, the ovary enlarge without fertilization. Parthenocarpy.
Does this parthenocarpy result in seedless fruit?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
Do all flowering plants actually bear fruit, or just some of it?
Yes. Even how to say this? Not all plants have fruits. For example, the ferns, pakupakis, that do not have fruits. We call it the higher plants, or what's the word? Angiosperm. Angio means vessel, sperm means seed. Seeds within vessel. And then there's another class of plant called gymnosperm, meaning naked seed, like the conifer cones. Yeah. So as long as the plants have flowers, definitely got fruits. Definitely. But the fruits may be in the shape that you are not familiar with. would you call buah beras?
No.
But it's actually fruit. So answer this question. You know tomato?
Yeah.
Is it fruit or vegetable?
It's fruit.
Fruit.
Really? Really?
Yes.
Sayur berbuah.
Is it fruit or vegetable?
I think it's fruit.
We not call it sayur tomato. We call it buah.
Okay, we go to terung. Yeah.
Buah sayur. Buah sayur teruk. Yeah, I think
It is a fruit.
Is it fruit or vegetable?
Fruit.
So if I say vegetable, wrong.
No. Because
No.
people said it with another vegetable.
Kalau jawab macam tu, kau dapat setengah markah je. It's in the context of conversation. Okay? If you are calling it in the context of botany, it's a fruit. Tomato is a fruit. Eggplant, aubergine, brinjal is a fruit. But in the context of culinarily speaking, from chef's perspective, that's a vegetable. So whether you call tomato is a fruit or vegetable, actually both is correct, depending on what's your profession. Are you talking it from the botanically point of view or culinary point of view? Interesting. Kan. Siapa nak bagi aku word? Lah. Okay. Boleh minat dengan plant science.
ini tak tulis dalam permohonan lah. Dah mohon dah sini.
Too bad.
Asbuang.
Lah, I've been doing plant science for a very long time, over 20 years. Macam nak jawab soalan kau macam tu.
But we take biology education.
So?
Learn about it later.
Yeah, of course. Actually, if you want to do it, put into perspective. Whenever you learn the plant, learn the human as well. Plants got hormones, human got hormones. But humans got heart, plants do not have heart. So how does it circulate all the fluid in the body? That can be my exact question actually.
So the answer is interrogation.
The answer,
What's the
the answer tunggu kau panggil aku balik. Nanti kau jawab.
Okay.
Alright, okay. Happy. Alright, okay. So thank